It always begins quietly, subtle, so subtle that even the child living through it doesn't realize what's happening. You're 7, maybe younger, standing in a home that should have felt safe, looking up at a parent who's unraveling in ways you don't understand yet. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's rage, maybe it's the dead weight of someone who's given up on themselves, and without anyone saying a word, something shifts inside you. A small, ancient instinct whispers, if I don't hold this together, no one will. That's the moment childhood ends, not with loss of toys or innocence, but with the silent belief that you must become the caretaker, the protector, the glue. This is how a child vanishes without going anywhere. Not physically, but internally. They smile more, they speak less, they start listening for emotional storms before they even arrive. They learn to read tension in footsteps, in breaths, in slammed doors. And the world claps for them. You're so mature, you're so responsible, you're so calm. But no one ever asks the real question, what did that cost you? Psychologists have a name for this, parentification. It's when a child becomes the emotional adult of the house because the adults won't. They become the mediator, the healer, the peacekeeper, the emotional shock absorber. And here's the brutal truth. This doesn't just make you stronger, it rewires your nervous system. You develop hypervigilance, a constant scanning for danger, a radar tuned to every shift in mood or tone. You walk on eggshells without realizing you're even doing it. You learn that love is not unconditional, it's a transaction. You give stability, they give temporary peace. You take care of emotions that are too big for you, and in return, your own feelings get buried alive. And because that version of you works, the quiet one, the helpful one, the selfless one, you wear that mask for years, so long that one day you forget it's a mask. But deep down, something aches. A longing, a restlessness, a sadness you can't quite name. That's the inner child you left behind, still waiting for someone to finally say, you didn't deserve that, you were just a kid. As you grow older, the effects evolve. You turn into the hyper-independent one, the friend who never asks for help, the partner who feels unsafe even in healthy relationships, the achiever who burns out but keeps going because rest feels like guilt. Joy feels foreign, peace feels suspicious, love feels earned, never given. You're not dramatic, you're still stuck in survival mode your brain created years ago. When dysfunction is your childhood norm, calmness feels like a trap. You're always waiting for something to break. This is the invisible trauma of growing up too fast. Not a scar you can point to, but a pattern that shapes everything. How you argue, how you love, how you trust, how you cope. And if you don't understand it, you repeat it over and over. But here's what almost no one tells you. Children do not become caretakers because they're strong. They do it because biologically, emotionally, instinctively, they will sacrifice themselves for attachment every single time. Not because they chose to, but because survival demanded it. In the tragedy, the strategies that saved you back then are suffocating you now. So many adults walking around as high-functioning are actually just highly adapted. They're the therapists of their friend groups, the ones who apologize too quickly, the ones who say I'm fine with a shaky smile, the ones who desperately wish someone would finally notice how tired they are. That quiet fantasy. What if someone asked if I'm okay? Is an adult you. It's the child inside you, still waiting for safety. The first step toward healing isn't improvement, it's acknowledgement. It's daring to say, yes, what I went through was hard. Because until you validate your pain, you'll keep minimizing it. It wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I turned out okay. No, you turned out functional, and function is not the same as healed. So what happens to that child when they become an adult? They overgive, they over-explain, they shrink themselves to avoid conflict. They push away softness because softness feels unfamiliar. They stay busy to avoid feeling. They confuse exhaustion with achievement. They see love as a job, not a resting place. None of this is personality, it's conditioning. The good news? Anything learned can be unlearned. Healing begins when you ask your inner child the questions no one ever bothered to ask. What did you need back then? What were you afraid of? What dreams did you bury to survive? You might hear answers like, I needed comfort, I needed protection, I needed rest, I needed someone to just hold me and say it wasn't my fault. And slowly, painfully, honestly, you begin giving those things to yourself. That's shadow work. Not rewriting the past, but refusing to repeat it. Not pretending you're fine, but facing the parts of you that were never allowed to feel. It's crying over memories you didn't have time to process as a kid. It's grieving the childhood you never got. It's learning to rest without guilt. It's letting yourself be human, not a coping mechanism. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's heavy. But healing is supposed to feel like grief, because something inside you is finally thawing. If you grew up too fast, hear this clearly. Your strength was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now, you do. You can choose slowness. You can choose boundaries. You can choose softness without fear. You can choose to stop fixing everyone else and start tending to yourself. There will be days you feel 7 years old again. Good. That means the child in you is finally coming home. Let them. Hold them. Listen to them. You're not broken. You're rebuilding. And for the first time, you're growing at your own pace. Not out of fear, but out of truth. You didn't have a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it.